listening to Dollars and Cents, brought to you by Midwest Money Management, your local full-service comprehensive financial planning team. Midwest Money Management, where hope is not a strategy.
Really happy to have Connor on. Connor's a certified financial planner professional at Midwest Money Management. Connor, since you've been on the last couple of times, had an interesting conversation. Golf guys, be quite frank. Thank you for coming on, by the way. Talking about the difference, it's such a wide array from the beginner. You know, we talked last time about just getting out of college or just getting your first job, how much you put away, to old fellers like myself who, you know, now it's like, well, now what do we do? There's such a gap between there. When you look at a Midwest Money Management yourselves, how do you handle that chasm of humans and their different, you know, their different spots in life?
It's a good question. Again, this always, you know, we're going to keep coming back to this, and it might end up sounding like a bit of a cop-out by the time we've done a couple months of this, but everybody's situation is really unique. Whether you are that individual just starting out, whether you're that person or couple who's been kind of socking money away for 20, 30, 40 years, and now you just want to make sense of it. A lot of the principles are the same and the things that we need to focus on and make sure we get right. But the truth is the individual goals we're trying to attain are different for each person. And kind of the fun part of our job, and also I think a lot of the skill, maybe, if that's not an arrogant way to say it, of our job is being able to serve people across that spectrum. Because again, everybody's got different things they want and need, and you know, what fills their cup in life.
So I'm just going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
So you get a young person who's coming in with his wife, his spouse, they're ready to get started, and they read a book. They saw a thing online where the rule of thumb says I put in the thing and the thing, and that's what we want. And you're like, okay, hold the horses. Let's, you know, and then you got old guys. I'm going to just use me because a lot of people out there went through like 2007. I was on a roll. I was trucking along, bing, bing, bing. Yeah. The market, you know, takes a nosedive. And I'm like, what happened? I was just mowing my lawn. I lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now I'm that guy who, sorry, whoever's throwing out the rule of thumb on the Facebook page or whatever. I've been burned. This doesn't, you know what I'm saying? My attitude compared to the young kids, how long or how do you go about figuring out Al can't handle that risk? Al, you know what I'm saying? How do you do it?
It's conversations. First of all, we could spend weeks and weeks, and I would enjoy that, talking about rules of thumb, the ones that make sense, the ones that are complete baloney, the things you see on the internet. And newsflash for your listeners, Al, and this is going to be breaking news, might end up in the Wall Street Journal. You can't trust everything you see on the internet. Believe it or not.
What?
Yeah, no, I know, and I might even throw TV in there too. Just I'm groundbreaking.
Leave radio alone.
Radio. Everything you hear on the radio, you can trust. Blanket statements. Compliance is going to love me for that. No. So the truth again, and this again, it sounds like a cop out, but it's really the truth. Individuals have individual biases. Individuals have individual preferences. You yourself, having mowed your lawn in 2008, you should have let the grass grow. It sounds like.
It sounds like
you're going to have your own experiences, and you're going to have your own feelings about things. Something we tell people all the time, especially folks who come in and say, "Hey, I'm okay with risk. I'm okay riding the roller coaster. I'm okay having potential 2008 type downside because I want the upside." A lot of times, folks that say that actually don't know for sure if that's how they are until they're in the middle of last month when the market's down 20%. So it's about a continual conversation. We don't just have someone come to the office. We throw them in some kind of investment allocation. We tell them what's what, and then we don't talk to them again. This is an ongoing conversation. It's hey, call in and ask us questions. What's going on? What headline is freaking you out today? A lot of my personal training and training of our advisory or planning team is about the psychology of people. A huge part of our job, and I think a lot of things that are missed by the general public, and it's the Wall Streety stereotypes and things is psychology. It's okay. What are you nervous about? What are you, there's a lot of different sort of psychological mental errors that we as people make. It's a whole human study called behavioral finance. Really, really interesting. But there's a lot of stuff that our job is to kind of break some of that down and help calm people through some of the scarier times. For example, like we've had the last, call it 2.5 months.
Well, I want to talk about tariff, whatever that thing was, but give me 1 second. So if someone were to call Midwest Money Management today and say, I heard the kid on the air, he seems like he understands what I'm talking about. I think I'm in a unique, we all think we're in a unique situation. You're saying it, we all are.
Yeah.
What do I bring to that meeting with you? It's a phone call, I presume, first, and say, okay, house isn't quite paid off, but I have the thing. I mean, you got to get a bigger grasp before you can say, put 15% in the mark. You know what I'm saying?
Course, yeah. No, of course. Okay. So our initial kind of not really even onboarding process, but before onboarding is something we call a compatibility consultation. Person calls in, emails in, one of our clients says, hey, you got to call so-and-so. I told them they got to work with you. We're going to connect with that person, whether via email, whether phone. Again, you're saying someone called into the office. Yeah. We're going to say, hey, we're going to have this first meeting. Would you like to do a phone call in today's world? Would you like to do a Zoom, or would you like to come into the office and meet us? Yeah. That first meeting is no cost, and it is literally, we loosely joke, it's like a first date. This potential client is trying to figure out if they like us, if what we provide makes sense, and we're trying to figure out, are we a good fit? It doesn't make any sense for us to try and force a relationship if it's just not what anyone's looking for. That first meeting is going to be precluded by an email communication with a questionnaire. We call it a confidential profile. It's got 8-9 pages, I think. And people fill that out to the extent that they're comfortable, but it's going to include things like your personal info. Do you have kids? What's your birthday? Yeah. What do you do? Do you have an accountant, an insurance person, an advisor, yada, yada. Yeah. Eventually down the road of what is your income? What are your debts? Do you have, assets that we might want to talk about? What are your goals? We have a whole questionnaire about, do you have a will? Do you have an estate plan? Do you have disability insurance? And then a questionnaire of risk, things to the effect of, hey, you're on a game show and you have won $50,000, and now you have a 50% chance. If you, what would you do? Would you take the money and run? Would you do a 50% chance to double it? Would you, double down? Those kinds of things. So we kind of begin to get an idea of where this person might land on the risk spectrum, and then when we come together, we just have a good conversation. That first meeting tends to be hey, let us tell you about us, simply because folks tend to have a lot of the same questions. How do you get paid? Where's the money going to be? How do I know you're not going to steal my money? All these kinds of things. And so we kind of get those things out of the way, because 80% of people have a lot of the same questions. And then we just have a conversation. And from there, it really does vary. It could be another 3 meetings. If somebody really wants to hit the road running and get a lot of stuff done right away, it might be, hey, let's open some accounts. Let's take a breath, because this is a lot and I don't want to do all the homework. We'll see you in 6 months or something like that. It all, again, people are unique. Every situation is unique.
And again, it's not a cop-out. I appreciate the idea that you're going to find out more about me, because I'm not ripping the guys on the TV, but you see a commercial on TV, a large group, great, just call this number, and within 5 minutes you're going to be put into the same thing that they put 25 other people in today, and I that doesn't make me feel comfortable, so I appreciate you doing this. I would like to talk about, and what do you call it? Was it Independence Day? What did he call it when we did the tariff thing?
Are we talking tariffs? Liberation Day, I think.
Yeah, Liberation, that was it, Liberation Day. Okay, I want to talk about that if we can on the other side, because that really threw the world in a loop. And what do you do with things like that? I've got them. It's Connor with Dollars and Cents from Midwest Money Management. More right after this.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria. Some like to experience the outdoors and all the fun winter in Minnesota can provide. Pick your favorite way to get in touch with nature. Others like to explore downtown in the warm comfort of a boutique or gathered around a table with friends. You can do all of that or relax and do nothing at all. Come explore Alexandria. Start planning at explorealex.com.
Well, listen to Dollars and Cents, brought to you by Midwest Money Management. Connor, a certified financial planner professional at Midwest Money Management, talking with us today. Connor, here's the thing. You got all the brilliant people in the world doing this money management stuff for folks. Good. Can you tell me, did anyone come out and predict that Donald Trump was going to throw tariffs across the board? I didn't know what a tariff was. I mean, I guess I would have thought about it. Okay, I get it. But the markets go, everything. Did anybody see this coming? And what do you do about stuff? I get it. Buy low and sell high. But I was lost there. I you know what I'm saying? Use a rule of thumb. No one heard of this. This is nuts. So what happens in all that?
Like we talked about before the break, there tends to be some logical fallacies or psychological fallacies where I think if you asked 100 people on the street, a large portion of them would say, "Oh, I saw that coming." I believe it's called hindsight fallacy. Now, if you ask them, "Hey, what'd your 401? Did you sell everything in your 401k on April 1st?" It might be a different answer. There's a lot of ways to talk about the tariffs. The reality is, politically, I think many would now say President Trump was pretty forthcoming for many months and potentially years that this was going to happen. The general sort of Wall Street reaction was when he came out on Liberation Day and the tariffs were what they were. The administration was adding things above and beyond sort of reciprocal tariffs, where this country is tariffing our import or our exports, I guess, into their imports in their country at 10%. We put 22% because we're also talking about manipulation and paying for NATO and whatever it might be. So the reaction, I think, was more violent, might be a strong term, but I mean, it was a very, very strong sell-off very quickly in reaction to that. Now looking back, we're essentially back to where we were largely, depending on what your favorite index might be. It might be a little high, a little low.
I just used me for an example. So it went down. It crashed. I don't know if you guys technically use that term, but you don't like that. It went way down really, really sharply. And I personally am about back. I mean, I'm within dollars, I'm back. But I presume you all learn from this because whatever wasn't paused 90 days for China or whatever. And now we could see this again. Yeah. Is this a matter? Again, I use buy low, sell high. I don't know how I would know when that's going to happen. So is it just the long hang in there? If it happens again in 90 days, how do you, and do I discuss that with you? If you add my money, I presume the phone rang off the hook the next day.
Here's the thing. So from a just kind of principle standpoint, and us included, but generally, trying to time the market and buy low, sell high, and all these things, it's not really realistic. As much as that sounds kind of disappointing, maybe to some listeners, the truth is nobody's got the crystal ball, and nobody knows, hey, if we sell on April 1st and we buy back on April 8th, yada yada. With that being said, our firm is a little bit unique, and I want to be careful to say this isn't about timing the market, but we do actually take a tactical approach to a lot of our investment strategies for clients. And so when things start to sell off, especially a more sustained sell-off, we actually do move clients to a position of safety. And so, in the middle of this tariff situation, sure, we had some clients calling and things, but generally speaking, our clients understand and they're getting emails and notifications that, hey, Midwest Money Management is reacting to what's happening in real time. That's different than trying to time and I'm going to buy here and then sell here. It's really just being more nimble. And so, in the middle of the, I guess, tariff sell-off or crash, as you called it, we were actually feeling pretty good. Not that we're happy to be down, and not that we're happy that the markets were down significantly more than we were. But our clients were kind of hanging out in safety and hoping to redeploy, dollars when things started to cool off, which they end up doing. So we have a little bit of a different approach to that. We're going to kind of protect client principle as first and foremost, generally, in most of our strategies. So a little bit different. Generally, the dogma is, hey, ignore the headlines. You're focused on 10 years from now. So what happens in the next 10 months shouldn't matter to you. That psychologically is really hard, though. Again, back to these psychological factors. People are people. This is why rules of thumb and statistics and things aren't generally great for individuals because individuals are individuals, as we keep talking about. So you have to be able to, in our world, talk to people, answer that phone, and have a good answer when things are getting scary.
All right, because again, when that happened, I don't know, flashbacks, PTSD from 2007 and 8, I'm complete and utter panic. You don't want that. So is it this, I don't want to, how do I want to phrase this correctly? You're not one of the monster money management companies, right? You're not this huge company that I got to talk to 3 secretaries before I get to somebody so they know I don't feel that nimbleness. I like your idea of being nimble. So you guys are that sweet spot size because you have obviously enough money managers and staff that I can get to Connor if that's who I need to get to, or have that sit down meeting ahead of time. So I'm not concerned. When it happened, I turned to the wife and said, Gunnar said these things happen. We're just going to, well, you know what I'm saying? Is that what you're telling me? You're that size?
So if you're, first of all, we're not a huge team. I mean, I would say we're, good nimble. Sized for nimble. We're good sized for an independent advisory firm like ourselves. We're 4 financial planners, and we all work as a team. So that's something I don't know if we've covered on the show yet, but Connor doesn't have clients. Adam, our founder, doesn't have clients. We all work with everybody. So whether you're calling in and going, I need to talk to somebody because the tariffs got announced and I'm freaking out, you're going to get one of the 4 of us. If Connor's in a meeting and you talk to Connor last, you're going to talk to Adam or Cam or Corey. But we have generally our client service manager is going to pick up the phone first, unless she's already on the phone, and then I'm going to pick up, or one of us is going to pick up. It doesn't take much to get to us, and we're very, very diligent about answering someone within hours. Now, as it relates to hey, Connor said this could happen. This is why it's not just a sticky in some kind of investment and then see you never. We try and have meetings at least annually with every single client that we have. Now, folks get busy, folks don't care, folks just scheduling doesn't work, and that doesn't always happen. But if we're not meeting at least annually, that's outside the norm, I would say, for our client base.
That's good to know.
And we're going to show you every single meeting, hey, here's what's happened in the last year, or here's what's happened year to date, or here's what's happened in the last couple of years. Here's the good times, here's the bad times. There's no hiding, hey, we're down a little bit this year, or we're up a whole bunch this year. It doesn't help to sort of only show you the good stuff and then kind of sort of dodge the bad. I mean, you have to have a holistic picture. But again, our clients tend to generally, folks that decide to be our clients gravitate more towards the, hey, they're actually watching my money. They're actually going to take action if something happens. And the truth is, legally, most advisory firms don't actually even have the legal authority to do what we do. And we can get into that if you want. But so I would say constant communication is key.
Fair enough. Out of time for this week. I do want to do the rule of thumb thing because it seems like it makes it so easy to just become a gazillionaire, but I don't know if they all work. We'll start talking about that next time you're on. How does someone get hold of Midwest Money Management if they're interested, Connor, to start the process and say, I like what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. So easiest way to kind of poke around, learn a little bit more about us, and even reach out is MidwestMoneyManagement.com. Easy enough. MidwestMoneyManagement.com. Lots of M's, as you can see behind me. Lots of M's. You can even email team, T-E-A-M, team at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's going to go right into a repository where we all watch, and you're going to get kicked to the person that can get back to you as soon as possible, including myself. And that's going to be the fastest way to get hold of the team and get something scheduled or just have a phone call and learn more.
We got to go. We're out of time. Appreciate it. Dollars and Cents with Connor on an Al Travis Show.
Achieving your financial goals